Now this is a most engaging little toy. It's an Asian toy, and in this case it's a snake, and it's very easily made. At least part of it is. The paper folding is a bit tricky. But you don't need the paper folding to make something like it, because all it is really is a self-powered device which relies upon a wire frame, some cardboard device that looks good over the wire frame, a rubber band for power, a heavy reel, and some cotton that does the winding and unwinding. And if we don't want to bother with the folded paper, we can make the same sort of thing inside a simple box. You can decorate that to be a dog or a cat or a dragon or whatever you like. And here's how you do it. I'll just get rid of that one. First of all, we need that heavy reel. And it's got to be heavy, otherwise it'll skid on the floor. And the best thing to use is really potter's clay, if you can get it. If you can't, clay from a riverbed or even your garden will do. And in desperation, you can get by with plasticine, although it does get a bit fluffy from the floor. Still, get your clay and take a ball the size of a golf ball. Put it on a flat board and roll it out with either your hand or another board. This is tricky. You've really got to make sure that you don't make it go lumpy. It's got to be round. And so you keep squashing it and flattening it and squeezing it until it really is a cylinder. And as closely as possible, it's a cylinder of about that size with flat ends. Not oval, but round. And when it's like that, get two straws, or two bits of straw really, and poke them through from one end to the other. Here we go, one through like that, and in case you didn't see that, I'll put one over here. Side by side, keep them parallel, and if you distort the cylinder, it doesn't matter because you can true it up afterwards, and in fact you have to do one more thing to it. You have to put a pen on the middle and roll it back and forth to provide the groove in which the cotton's going to run, and make sure that's in the middle. Right, that gives you another chance to make it nice and symmetrical. I'll stop mucking around with that and show you how it should look. That's the finished article, still squashy, but with a nice deep groove where the pin was, the straws running through, and quite a bit of distance on either side. Now, it's got to be made even. We've got to cut the ends off, but we don't do it in the squashy form. That'll distort it. We put it in the oven to dry or leave it out in the sun for a few days, and it'll come up like this. Even without firing, it'll be nice and hard. At that stage, you can pull out the straws and use a knife to trim off the ends. And at this stage, we really want to make the ends nice and square, and above all, we want to make that side the same distance as that. Otherwise, it's going to start turning in circles. Of course, it doesn't really matter if it turns in circles, but you might like it not to do so. So you just keep trimming, and you'll find that that clay is hard, but it does cut, and it's just about perfect for this sort of thing. Okay, that's the reel, and that's very much as we want it. Now I'll get rid of that rubbish and get on to the next bit, which is to provide the power in the form of rubber bands. And those should be thin and the same size, and use scissors to cut them and hold two of the ends together and tie them in a knot, like that. You tie the other ends as well, but not until you've fed them down through the holes in the reel. So here we go, poke one through there, one through the other, a little bit of fiddling, poke them with a stick if they're reluctant to go. When they come through on the other side, grab them, make sure they're the same length, get them together, and tie them in a knot too. And that's going to be the reel, and that's going to be the power. And all we need to do is to wrap some cotton around it and put it on the wire frame. Well, the cotton comes next, and I would suggest you get something about 2 meters long. I've got a short one because it's easier to work with, just to show you. Tie it round the middle, and give it a good tight knot there, and once you've done that, wind the whole thing up. You need to put that into the wire frame after the cotton has been wound round. Well, as I say, I've only got a short bit here, but that would normally be about 2 meters there. Well, the wire frame you have to match to whatever you're going to make ride on it. In this case, it's a wooden little cardboard box. And I find a pair of pliers and an old coat hanger are the best. Work away at the wire, put a hook on one end, mould it to fit, and in this box, that would be the result. It just fits nicely inside there, and I've got a little hook on either end on which I can place my rubber bands. So I'll do that now. Rubber band on there, stretch it out, and a rubber band on the other side. And in that form, it's ready to be stuck into the box, and right underneath the cotton, where it touches the cardboard, I'd punch a little hole, and I'll do that now. And if I assemble the whole thing like that, stick it down with tape, make sure it's all held together, I can turn it over, and make sure that it's really going to be just sitting nicely on the tabletop. And then decorate it. And that's the finished result. The string comes through the top, and if I turn that up, you can see it's on the wheel like that. If I pull it, the wheel winds up on the rubber band. I put tape there to stop it skidding sideways. If I let it go, the rubber band unwinds it. And that should give you your own Chinese dragon.